Hello and welcome back to Velocity Volume 3, benefiting the Movember Foundation. It is Usurpering. I've come back just to host FoxyJira's run. Foxy, how you doing? Come on in, my dude.
I am ready to roll. That's all I gotta say, I guess. I don't know. It's been a long day. Let's end it hot. Let's say that.
As they say, what a day.
What a day. But yeah, so this is Death's Door. I'll be running the 90% current category, which so current patch on the PC. There's a difference between 1.0, which has I don't want to say a decent amount more runs, but there is kind of a split between 1.0 and current patch on PC. Nothing really too much to say about it. With me here now, I have Sinith, who is I guess you're just like a moderator in the community, Sinith. I don't know how many runs you've done of Death's Door specifically, but I know you support the community quite a bit in general. So glad to have you here.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. So yeah, you're right. I actually have played Death's Door. I haven't done an official speed run yet, but yeah, I mean, I help out the community over on the Discord, making sure that everyone's feeling welcome over there.
Great. Yeah, so I'm just going to go get started. I'll count down from 3, 3, 2, 1, go, and then it'll kind of just be bang, bang, bang from there. So I'll get to explain from there. So you ready to go, sir?
Yeah, let's go.
Sweet, let's go. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Alrighty. So yeah, like I said, this is Death's Door. It's a game made by Acid Nerve. If you've also heard of their like other kind of, I don't want to say hit, but also indie title, it's called Titan Souls. That was kind of a spiritual game akin to Shadow of the Colossus in the sense that it's a boss rush and fairly tough game in its own right, and that's a one-hit KO. Like you one-hit KO bosses, and bosses do the same to you. In this game, it's more of like an action-adventure isometric RPG about the crow here, who is basically a reaper of souls, so he's kind of like death in some aspects. And so we get assigned a giant soul to go kill, which is kind of a big deal. We get told by Chandler, the handler here, hey, by the way, if you in between the amount of time when you're killing your soul or waiting to reap your soul and you're not, and you in between the time that you're waiting to reap the soul and you actually reap it and return it back, you can die. So Krulls are kind of effectively being seen as immortal. We've got our first boss here, the demonic forest spirit. There's a quick little skip there that I'll get to right after this because there's a lot of walking after this, but this boss is fairly quick. We have basically what is going to be the sword, which is going to use for the entirety of the run for the most part, besides a few tricks. And it's going to be the main portion of DPS along with our spells, which in this case is the what we have now is just the bow. So the game's very Zelda-like in the sense that you have a set of spells that you get and unlock later, and then different weapons you can acquire. So we grab our soul, and then all of a sudden we get bonked over the head by some super big bird, not Sesame Street, that decides to go and take our soul. So we wake up here, and we're going to chase through this door that is not like the others. So we enter into the Lost Cemetery, which is kind of like the hub world of all of this, and then we get shown some just like slow things to do. We'll be rolling as the fastest form of movement for now, and then kind of, as you can see here, chasing the old gray crow to try and find our soul. So that was kind of a lot in the start. But one thing that you'll see here is I'll be grabbing doors, which are just basically like the checkpoints throughout the game. And every time you grab a door, it resets your actual checkpoint in the game. So anytime one activates, whether like I just grab it or it's the last one I entered, I'll be using that as a checkpoint reset for the most part to reduce the amount of like walking time that we have to do. So this is like a little, like I said, hub area that just kind of introduces us to all of the mechanics of the game. We have like a lot of little gates through and kind of get used to hordes of enemies, basically. And that grunt had a bad position, that's fine. And we're going to knock through here, grab this key, go up this ladder, and grab this other soul over here. Souls, like the actual Souls games, are the form of currency in this, but really they're only used for upgrading yourself in terms of levels. So we're going to do a quick reset there because we need one of the enemies, the bat specifically, to skip the rest of this area so that we don't have to walk around and do all the fights. So a lot of the skips in this game are very neat. A lot of them are... The main one that we use throughout the entirety of the game is pretty simple in execution overall, but it can be very tough. Also, kiting this bat can be sort of a nightmare sometimes, but that was actually pretty alright for the most part. So actually now we skip that entire section, and we're going to be coming on our first boss, which is the Guardian of the Door. I like to think of this boss as like an akin to Alexander from the Final Fantasy series, but there's actually a no-clip documentary on YouTube about this game, and Acid Nerve kind of said that they thought this... They didn't think that themselves, so I'll just put it in their own... I missed a lot of hits there, that's not good. They didn't say that explicitly themselves, so I'll... put it there for them, let's say that.
Yeah, you definitely introduced the run quite a bit. So, as you said, this is kind of Souls-like. It's kind of got more Zelda aesthetics. This was built only by a few people, very small indie dev team called Acid Nerve. You might be familiar with their work from another game called Titan Souls, which is the kind of imaginary precursor to this game. They're not directly linked, quote unquote, but they definitely have some story elements that kind of link into each other.
Yeah, it's really more of like a spiritual successor, if anything, that you get hints to in some places here and there. So after we beat that, we stored that key that I grabbed earlier and weren't able to use it, or able to skip using it in kind of the locked door on another section. So we should be going to see the Grey Crow right here, and there's another key that we should be using, but we don't have to do that since we stored the other key. So we're just going to skip right past, go through this area, and we're going to do a little bit of a sequence break. I don't need to grab that lever. A little bit of a sequence break to go to, like, technically what would be the third area of the game, just by doing some Zelda-like movement here. Now, it's a little bit finicky sometimes. There you go. Whether you hear this this pot, basically, or like, what's the word, like a bonfire? It's not a bonfire. Get lit up through your arrow. And so you do find out later in a different section that, like, your magic spells are able to, like, become fire arrows if you shoot them through an open flame, that sort of thing. And so what we're going to be doing here is the first major, like, skip, really, where we're going to do something called an arc. That's not good spacing, where basically I'm just going to do a simple roll cancel in the air over smaller spaces that allow me to actually, like, keep my height when rolling so I don't have to worry about falling. And so by doing that, I can go through here, and whoops, I took some damage unexpectedly. That's totally fine, don't worry about it. And then we're gonna go fight basically a mini boss here. So we're gonna do the same arc thing over here. I'm gonna aim at him to get him to shoot me. Oh, dang it, I didn't mean to do that, crap. Actually, I'm kidding. I don't want to give people too much. I meant to die there, it's no big deal. So basically by killing that boss, I get an extra 100 souls. That saves time for me later whenever I'm trying to so it's fairly easy to miss that attack. So it's the easiest bait that I'm going to give you in this entire run, and also the shortest, so I don't actually gotta act like I'm faking it too much. So what we just did there, what these mini bosses are for, is basically it's like a secondary unlock. So you get the different spells, like the bow, for example, has an upgrade to it that you can get later in the game that empowers it a little bit more. And so simply what I did basically was I unlocked the secondary version of the hookshot spell. And so you can kind of see in the top left corner that I have the bow spell in the top, and then on the bottom I kind of just have like a highlighted diamond that isn't there at all. And so what that basically means is I have the upgraded version of the hookshot spell, but I don't actually have the normal hookshot spell. So if I end up accidentally switching off of that, then I completely lose it until I get the true hookshot spell, which would completely kill the run, and I would literally have to restart. So my hand is going nowhere near my D-pad for the next several minutes in the run while we run over to the first actual area of the run that's outside of the Lost Cemetery, which is going to be the Mausoleum or Grandma's Estate. So I'm going to turn left here, go grab another soul orb. A lot of what this early portion is getting just enough souls to upgrade our strength, and then also a certain set of our stats. And then also the hookshot has some funny qualities where you can just kind of skip through some things, so I don't have to go through that entire room where there's an elevator and wait for that slowness, because I like to go fast because I'm a speedrunner, because I'm cool and stuff. So now we're in the Estate of the Erdwitch. We're just going to kind of run through here. It's very quick and very just kind of to the point. So nothing really to say other than if you would like to plug the marathon, or maybe if there are donations, you can go from there.
Absolutely fantastic. And oh, by the way, are you going to read the full title of that frog boss
No,
later?
I'm not.
You're not even going to attempt it?
Yeah, I
Donation
my
incentive
memory
for
is not-
$20.
That would actually be a great incentive, but I am not that bold or that much of a great orator, I would say. But yeah, that's actually a very fun thing. So if one of you wants to pull that up and has the gall to do it, I would highly recommend it. It's
So if
very
anyone
funny.
wants to donate $20 to put some pressure on Foxy to say out a really long title, do feel free.
I will gladly do that. Actually, if somebody puts forth that $20, I will speed read all of that in the best way that I can, Eminem style. Really quickly, so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna skip that NPC. His name is Pothead, aka Pathed. And Pothead is basically like a nice little reference to the Katarina Knights from Dark Souls. A lot of this game just has a great tongue-in-cheek, like kind of quippy humor. It's very British, and I don't know. I grew up in a lot of British humor, and I think it's great. So Pathed is an awesome main character or side character, excuse me. And I don't know. It's sad that we don't talk to him anymore, but it takes too much time. And like I said, we like to go fast, and that comes at the price of sacrificing our friends. We'll talk to him later, and he'll have a nice for us. So. We'll go through that. But like I said, we're just running through this area, grabbing some orbs here and there. Don't say orb, please, because this is a GDQ, and we aren't like that. I'm kidding. But yeah, we're just running through this area. It's pretty straightforward. A lot of what this is supposed to show you is like little puzzles about the bow and like, oh yeah, look, fire interacts with your stuff. And it's super nice, actually, that the hookshot still interacts with the flame, because that would totally kill the run. And we'd have to do... It wouldn't kill the run. It would just make it a lot slower and a lot more tedious, and also scary, just because there's a portion where we have to fight a later set like waves of enemies in an arena that require, or at least it helps to have all of this like the stat bonuses that we're going to get from getting all these orbs and souls. So that's really about it. So skip most of that. We could use one of these archers to get up here and do a lift onto these hedges, but we'll see that later in like just a moment. So really, also the hookshot's great for just straight up worlds. Oh, thank goodness. There's an extra grunt there that can ruin my day by being an extra person for me to smack around when I do this skip here. So we're going to leave these grunts over because it just saves time rather than trying to, slap them around when they're by the archer. We're going to pipe this archer over to this hedge, and he's not being a good boy. And so basically, the nice things about archers is that they have a nice little funny animation where they kind of lift their bow up from the ground, and as the crow, you can kind of just barely walk into them, and as they lift up their bow, they lift you up too, and that's literally just enough height for you to... and then there's this hole. Just enough height to like get up on top of things. So as of right now, I'd usually be like mashing the crap out of my keyboard, because it's kind of weird in this game. Mashing text is not like most games where if you mash multiple buttons or keys at once, it'll mash through. You have to actually explicitly mash them individually in kind of a rhythm, and it's kind of hard to do, and so it's just easier for me to usually mash on my keyboard. But I have blue switches on my keyboard, and I don't want to have to deal with people being like, what is that terrible noise of mashing? So we're going to pick up 2 strength nodes, which is going to help us with the next fight, basically, to unlock the actual hookshot spell, so we don't have to worry about... We can actually use the bow from now on, because we do need a couple other spells just here and there to actually help us progress through the game, because, Zelda-like puzzles and stuff, you got to use... what you got, basically, to move through. And something you'll see me doing there is something called the dagger dash. So there's a weird little mechanic in the game where if you charge a dagger strong attack and then buffer that into... Let me think of the best way to say this. By doing the dagger attack, strong attack, as soon as you release the attack and then press start, it can kind of buffer the acceleration that's given to you from the attack, and then it applies it after you pause and reselect the daggers themselves. So this is Avarice 3. It's supposed to be where we're getting the third spell. We're going to fight all the enemies here. I accidentally rolled off there stupidly. And we're going to go from there. So just going to wait here, and we're going to go through the boss fight, and wait. Dang it. Okay, well, my controller died, so it's no big deal. I'll just die here and reset the fight as I kind of... Sometimes the game gets rid of your inputs. It's no big deal. Actually, I'm lying to you again really poorly. We die on purpose. So we can skip this section and then go into Castle Lockstone, which is kind of like the third area of the game once you've beaten Grandma's Estate in another area. And we're going to grab 2 orbs here for leveling purposes, and then go basically back around to the Avarice fight and do it again. So we just want a door here is all we want so that we can skip through, because basically all we're going to do here is a reverse boss order for every single boss in the game, because for some reason the bosses go in reverse order for how much health they have. So the last boss of the 3 bosses you face in the game, besides the final 2, only had 60. I think it was 60, 80, 120, or 60, 80, 100 or something like that. So basically by having the 2 strength and other stuff, we allow ourselves to kind of do the fights faster than just going through them in the normal order that we would, because we'll eventually be only putting the rest of our stats in strength. So now I'm actually going to go into this fight and do it normally, and then kind of hopefully breeze my way through it. So I feel like I'm baiting the crowd very poorly here, but I don't know. I feel like sometimes a lot of that bait stuff gets a little bit too over the top if you try it too much, and we die a lot on purpose in this game. So I wouldn't say a lot on purpose, but for these specific sections. So I'm going to focus here. If anybody has anything else to say, then feel free to go for it.
Fishing for content, I see.
Oh, greatly.
I mean, I've got a couple of donations I can read out, if that's all right with you.
Oh, it's not all right, but I mean,
Smile.
do what you want.
Well, first off, I have a singular dollar from Sanjan, simply saying, Sean, bruh. And that has gone towards the Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu run, name of the character, Sean, bruh. And you know how we said, like, what is it, $20, and someone will speak out the name of the Frog King?
Yeah.
Well, there is a $50 donation that says, love that you're doing this, so chop chop, my dudes. Thank you all for your generosity, and just remember, it's all going towards the Movember Foundation, a charity that benefits men's physical and mental health, fighting cancers such as prostate and testicular cancer.
This is bad, actually.
With that $50 donation, I feel like I need to come in here with my epic announcer voice and do the frog.
Oh, yeah.
Either way.
Or you could do it like in sync of each other.
Oh, that would
like
be...
like a duet.
Like a
be very hard.
A broette. There we go. Okay, I was very scared there, actually. That enemy can kind of trip you up sometimes. Obviously, taking damage sucks and loses time. So no big deal. A little bit worried about that fight. I like to think that large enemy is a little bit akin to Smo, but from the Dark Souls series, if people are aware of that, and as I keep referencing. And so we have to go through these little animations of the, I don't know, crow spirits. I don't know what they are, really. They're just big crows that pop out of the Avarice and like, hey, you want a spell, bro? And you're like, yeah, dude, cool. Like, I'm a silent protagonist. I do what you tell me. So, again, oh no, I'm dying, blah, blah, blah. We're going to do a intentional death here to basically mosey our way over back to the main hub. We're going to upgrade our stats to Dex 1, which is going to allow us to do some fancy footwork here, sort of Street Fighter style, but not Street Fighter style, to get to the next Avarice fight instead of having to go through, like, all of the extra little bits to do that. So I guess a lot of what we've not mentioned is I'm skipping it. Just basically most of the game, I guess, like a lot of the actual things that you would normally be doing. This is most certainly what I would definitely say is not the hardest trick, but the most finicky trick in the game. So if there's a lull here, I apologize. There's not much I can do about it besides say that I need to become a better gamer. except I guess right now I'm half of a god gamer. And these rails, they might look really easy to go up, but they are extremely tight to do. And I think we're moseying pretty well, so I'm not going to be marathon safe right here. One thing I have not mentioned so far is so these arcs that I'm doing, they're pretty easy to pull off. But if I do them over like a gap like this where there's no floor or water or anything to catch me and cause damage, if I fall into a void doing them, I simply just hard lock. I don't want to say hard lock. I soft lock the game and I have to Alt F4 out to actually be able to oh my god, to reset myself and be able to continue. So that is the first time I've got that first try in a long time. And
Fantastic. Good
oh
job.
my goodness, that was okay. That takes a lot of pressure off, honestly, because I did this in a marathon a few weeks ago for Speed Souls, and it took me like a solid 2 minutes to get both of those, and I just made it look super easy. That is super finicky. If this is a game that interests you in speedrunning, it takes a bit to get used to, but we do have decent setups for them. It's different for everybody that I've met that does run the game, but overall, like, I would say in comparison to some RNG heavy segments, it's really not that bad. So yeah, just another arena here, and
I can definitely attest to those rail clips being the bane of existence, and I mean the fact that you got that so fast, you're already on world record pace, aren't you?
pretty close probably. Probably not super on, but somewhat close. And ooh, that was lucky. We'll see over here. I've got splits running in the background, so I'll give you an update as we go. This fight's going actually really well too.
And for those of you that were donating towards that Frog King incentive, I'm going to post a link in chat so you guys get to see exactly what we're going to be coming up on here as soon as we see the Frog King.
Oh, you gotta leave it to him though. You want to ruin it?
We gotta make it a mystery. All right,
we gotta make it a mystery. It is extremely long and extremely funny, as I will tell you. And if I can get through even like half of it, I'll be happy. Because I don't know most of it. I only know the funny words. But it is, I don't know. It's like I said, the humor in this game is extremely tongue in cheek and just kind of like just the word choices are absolutely amazing. So we'll be coming on it pretty quick actually. So all right, I'm slightly behind, but I did gain back at least like 30 seconds I think for this. So. That's good to know. So I'm currently actually the world record holder for this category. It's a bit of a funny situation simply because while grinding it, this now second place holder is just an absolute beast of this game, but has taken a short break from it for the most part. And at one point, I got a PB that was 1 second behind his record, and then about 2 days later, I was 20 seconds ahead, choked a little bit on the run, and then proceeded to get a time that was 1 second ahead of his. So I only got world record by 1 second. Definitely a time that's beatable. It's just more of, now getting over my own hump of being like, yes, I can grind this out. It'll be okay. Oh no, I got caught on that ledge, but yeah. Overall, very fun game. We could certainly use more runners in the community, and there's a lot of people still, even though like the runs themselves aren't maybe the hottest topic. Like a lot of people theory crafting and looking up like new skips and really still breaking down this game. It only came out in like like August of this year, so it's only been a few months, and there's still like so much that we are still discovering and like trying to mess around with overall, and fairly active as a community. So the more runners, the better. Honestly.
Yeah, definitely. This game came out sometime this year, like you said, August, and it's still growing, still lots of theory crafting, like you said. The speedrun channel, the speed tech channel in the Discord is active daily. I'm usually checking it, every couple of hours just to kind of see what people are posting there. Because it's literally just like every couple of hours, someone posts something new or is talking about like, oh, can we do this or can we do that? And it's just, like you said, a lot of theory crafting. And if you're looking for a good speed game to get into, this is a very good speed game to get into because there are not a lot of runners right now, and it's good competition to try and get to the top.
Yeah, it's definitely like having been in other communities and speedrun other games. I feel like this game is just perfectly enough, like the amount of content that like It's engaging. It's fun to play. The tricks are simple, yet sometimes can throw you a little bit of a curveball. And then, you can still like try and do your best. And like, if you like, action games like this, isometric, good music overall. Like it really just kind of all ties together into a fun game. I feel like it hasn't got a lot of spotlight, I guess, in terms of different things. But it will be coming out on PS4, PS5, and Switch actually as of the 23rd. So. Just in a few days, actually, if you're interested in picking it up for console. Console running isn't as huge as I know, but like I mean, honestly, I think the difference between console and PC. I will say that the trick that I just did that skips the early Avarice 1 stuff, the rail stuff, it very likely not to be able to do on controller. You do need mouse and keyboard to be like super precise. But if you're the person that figures that out, then you can bring this game to a whole new different set of people. So. Don't be afraid. We're here. We're happy. We're helpful. We try our best.
Are you sponsored by the Death Store developers by any chance to promote their game? Because you're doing a fantastic job.
I wish. If you want to promote me to them, then I think I would seem less facetious about it. But they also are releasing. So there's a special release coming because the game was digital only for PS5 and Switch, I believe, where its physical copies are being released by, and Sinith, you might know this better than me, what the company is. I think it's literally called Special Releases, where like they release physical copies of digital only games. That is also being out for pre-order on the 23rd, and I think it's like $45. You get a physical copy, a steelbook, an art book. And it comes, which is kind of a bad thing to say, but it comes with a manual, like an actual physical manual for the book, like you get back in the old days. And one big thing to mention is the game's only $20 on Steam right now, and like other things. So it's not a full price game that you'd be paying for. Like I don't know. I feel like that's the biggest thing for me is that like a lot of indie games nowadays try to justify a bigger price, for a game that may not have as much content. And like this, I think for $20, this game has a lot of replayability, a lot of like good content that just, it makes it worth that value overall. So, good to go from there. So, so this is, I guess, as I speak about this, we're going into some more mini sections about like, the in-between areas, basically, of what would be Castle Lockstone. I kind of want to show you guys what these grunts do, but they're not doing it. They'll actually hop up and try to attack you while you're on the ladder. Thankfully, they can't, which is good because it would be absolutely terrible. But yeah, the enemies in this game, I don't know if I'm making it seem like really easy, but they are extreme. Like they can gank you just terribly overall. It's pretty bad. So what we're actually experiencing now is like late game content. Basically, we're meeting the camp of the Free Crows, which is like basically Reaper Crows that were like, hey, this is stupid. Like, screw the man. We don't want to work and do dumb stuff and kill stuff. Also, there's some background lore that like things aren't the reason that the crows are killing or reaping souls is because they like. I don't say death has disappeared, but like things are going on and living too long, and they know that's unnatural in the world. So they've kind of figured out that there was some get up that happened where, death just stopped coming for things. People stopped dying and whatever. And they're like, yeah, nah, this isn't good for nature, bro. And decide to like go against their leader. So I'm going to do a pretty big skip here where I'm going to do a ton of... So this trick is also, like, I think I said this earlier, they're called arcs, air roll cancels. So I'm just doing these rolls over voids. So if I fail one of these now, like I said, I have to Alt F4 out of the game. And it's just a continuous series of them at this point. And you can see all these enemies that I'm just skipping over to get through the game. There's a nice little wizard right here that I'm going to try and one-shot. Nice. That kind of works half and half. One thing I didn't mention earlier is that you probably see me like returning projectiles quite a bit. And it's not a good angle. Returning projectiles does double damage if it hits something. So you basically want to do that as much as you can. So, and I just did... This arena is really tough. So taking one hit of damage... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, while you focus on that arena, I posted the link for the physical copies that are coming out November 23rd. They'll be on pre-order from November 23rd to January 7th, and it's Special Reserves is the company that is handling the pre-orders of PS5 and Switch Death Door if you want a physical copy. Otherwise, like you said, go grab a digital copy. Go grab the OST, because as you can hear, the OST is just absolutely amazing.
It's great. David Fenn really killed it. It's rare, I think, you get a little gem like this of an indie game. So last wave here, these enemies are the toughest in the game, I will easily say.
So, just to kind of note on how broken this route is, we are about to go fight the third last boss in the game. Before any other boss, we're going to go fight... I mean, obviously we fought the castle first, who's the first boss. You have to fight him. But after that, we go fight the third last boss in the game and then work our way backwards through the game.
So, yeah, it's absolutely, like, kind of fun. It's nutty to kind of break the game like that. One big thing for me as a speedrunner and, like, what I like to see in games is I like to play games for the most part. There's a lot of games where, like, you play them and, like, the speedruns will just be like, oh, yeah, we're going to look at this wall for, 20 minutes, and then we're going to be at the last boss. I'm like, oh, that's great. But, like, we still get to do combat. We still get to see the game and at least, like, look over some of the areas, which is a lot of fun. But yeah, this is Betty. Just Betty. If you play Titan Souls, Betty is, like, a reference to the Yeti boss, which, big brain right there. One thing I did right there that you may not have noticed, so I did a roll into a strong attack, which gives me a glitch where now when I roll, I get an extra buffered attack. And I'm basically going to, until I get hit, which right there, I was trying to talk and that's what I get for it. Until I get hit again, I can do, like, whenever I do a roll, I get an extra attack. And I'm going to Dark Souls style, basically just roll into the boss until she dies, like that. And then basically you get invincibility frames when you're rolling in the game. But you don't roll through enemies like other Souls, like Dark Souls in general, but you can get really caught up and encapsulated by enemies is the best thing to say. So that's Betty done. She's really fast, even with only two strength. And the nice thing about this reverse boss order that we mentioned is because she's the third boss, she gives us 700. She gives us the most souls out of all of the bosses. So now basically we can afford the next upgrade without having to worry about it. And so now that we beat the third boss, we get to go see some lore basically about the game, where we're going to meet the boss of the crows basically, who is the Lord of Doors. And wow, I can't believe I missed that. And let's
while you go through that cutscene, the next boss we're going to is the one that we're trying to get the donation incentive for, which is the King of the Swamp. So if you were donating for that, stick around because that title is coming up here pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's gonna. And one fun thing is, so the dagger dashes, they're called. I guess the community calls them zoomies. Animals zoomy. If you zoom into a cutscene, you do these circles. So I don't know. It's a fun little thing. Other cutscenes, it's not good to do because you can zoom me off into the distance, and it kind of it's not good for fights. So yeah, that's Lord of Doors. He's a cheeky dude. I love him. He's great. And I don't know, his the art style of this game just absolutely kills it. Like, I can't give this game enough love and just praise, I guess, more or less for the experience that it gives you for how cheap it is. It feels bad saying that, but I don't know, they could have easily charged $30 and I would be 100% happy with what I got from this game.
The crow just running in circles is the goddamn best adorable thing in the entire game. Just come on, hurry
Let's
up,
be okay, buddy, you're my boss, but I got souls to kill. Bye bye. So yeah, there's a little skip here that I could do to kind of go around a different section, but I'm not gonna do it because there's not a decent chance, but I haven't practiced it in a little bit, and there's a possibility I'd have to be Alt F4ing out here for a solid portion. So we're just not going to do that. It only saves, like, at best, 10 seconds. So, zooming past the Guardian of the Door section, we need the Flame spell for stuff. I need to get 1 Soul Orb here to make sure that I have enough to level up to 4 Strength for one of the last fights. Activate this here with a 360. I didn't 360 no scope, but I did no scope, and then activate that fire, which brings up the gondola person thing, animal guy. I don't know what this is, but it's literally just like some super swole person who was literally like in that gondola, just being an absolute unit, bringing you up and down into the swamp. So this is the swamp. There we go. Finally, getting zoomies can be very tricky sometimes because you feel like you get like a rhythm for them, but then sometimes it just absolutely goes away, and you're like a second or two not fast enough. So thankfully, one super nice thing is we don't actually have to do like any of this area. Oh, that's a great one, but if it's setting me a good angle, probably not. Bye-bye. All right. We don't have to do any of this area. It's a super long, super annoying area. Like it's greatly designed, but like at the same time, like if doing it in a speedrun would just absolutely be a nightmare. So we just do an arc over here. We have to go around the street because there's an invisible wall. I zoom in here because it's fast and I am speed. And then I go into this tree and I'm gonna do. You need to do like not a super fast zoomy, but you would just want to run off this edge and oh look, we're at the edge of the world and we enter in the next area. So now we're in the Flooded Fortress, which is basically, it's kind of like the old Watchtowers area where we were getting to Betty. And just kind of running through this little section as like a buffer. So nothing really crazy to say here. That art can sometimes be a little bit finicky, but we got it. Oh. And dagger dashes, be damned.
Yeah, Foxy just skipped a spell. The bomb spell is required to get into this area.
Yeah. So I mentioned that we get the hookshot and the flame spell, but we don't actually get the third spell, technically, which is the bomb spell. We don't need it, and it just, like I said, going through those other 2 areas would just be an absolute mess. We don't have a good way of getting to, at least I don't know of a way to get to the bomb spell, just because, or the avarice that is the mimic chest for the bomb spell with otherwise. So we just kind of skip it here. It's no big deal. This next area is probably like the arena that I did before is a pretty big run ender, I would say. But Flooded Fortress overall, like there are so many little things that need to go right that it can just absolutely ruin your run and stop you from having a good time. Is the best way to say it. So I'm going to try to keep my composure here, but if I end up like yelling something, I apologize to the showrunners about this. So this archer's going to tell us off and be like, hey dude, I'm going to whistle on my boss, but turns out he like makes a face. He just gets sat on by the Frog King. You see the Frog King a lot of different places, and this dude's like, holy crap, like, yeah, go away, but I don't want to get between his chubby green cheeks. It's literally what he says. So we skip you see those like blue half-broken blocks. Those are those are blocks that you should be destroying with the bomb, but thanks to the hook shot and just some other stuff, we can skip all of these. So this is a nice little sequence right here that you can do in a casual playthrough. There's nothing stopping you from doing this otherwise. I'm just going to try and not be in combat here because I don't want to be. This arc is a little bit finicky, and nope, okay. I gotta clean out these just to be safe. So you do an arc right there. It's different from the others in the sense that like most arcs you want to hold down and fully charge the attack, whereas this one because you need to be so tight. Actually, I don't need to worry about it. Haha. You got to see me skip that actually, which is great. So with that arc specifically, you don't even want to charge it. You just want to kind of tap through it. A lot of so sword arcs and other things are kind of interesting because they have different timings and different ways to execute them. For the most part, daggers, you just simply want to do like a quick 1, 2, 3 inputs of charge attack, roll, buffer, and then do the input. And then we gotta skip all these guys, go through here, rock these whizzes. Go through the worst portion of this section, So what I'm hoping for here, oh, that's great. Thank you, thank you. Those wizards are terrible because you're relying on RNG for them to basically get to that section so I can hookshot onto them. And oh my goodness, thank you. They're so nice. This is such like a nice run. They're being so nice to me. It's so rare.
How sweet.
How sweet of them. They just like either knew it was my birthday recently, or just wanted to be cool dudes. Oh, hello. Alright, switch to. There we go. But yeah, this is an arena here if there's like donations or anything. Ah! Okay.
Alright, just let me bring up the page, refresh it. Just to remind you all, we are raising money for the Movember Foundation. All proceeds will go directly to the Movember Foundation, benefiting research towards men's health, suicide prevention, prostate cancer, and testicular cancer. Since 2003, Movember has funded more than 1,250 men's health projects around the world, challenging the status quo, shaking up men's health research, and transforming the way health services reach and support men. I want to just thank all the viewers, all the donators, and all the speedrunners for coming in this marathon and helping us out. We really wouldn't be here without you, and we wouldn't have been able to raise so much for this amazing cause. So, shout outs to everyone.
You're welcome, I guess. I don't know. Alright. So now we have the Frog King. I'm going to try to say this as quickly as I can, but I don't know, Syneth, if you want to have it ready.
I do have it ready.
Okay, so I'll say it as fast as I can, but we'll go from there. All right, King of the Swamp, guard in the flooded fortress, lord of his domain, ruler of all holy servers, champion of the people, keeper of the five bows. First of his name, second his other name, who is with a middle initial of mercy, destroyer of laws who question his right before looking at him askance, eater of the vanquished, guzzler of the non-committal is all I could get through. But yeah, all right. But if you want to say that in regular time, all
right, I got you. You chat. You're ready, chat.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Introducing King of the Swamp, guardian of the fortress, lord of his domain, ruler of all he surveys, champion of the people, second of the voting, without mercy.
Do you have a voice filter onto that? I was having a hard time hearing that, Senate.
Me too, bro. He went in too deep.
He went in too deep. Yeah.
He's too powerful. We can't stop him.
So I'm doing try to do a quick kill here. Basically, I'm gonna try and just go through these phases absolutely maddeningly fast. All right, took damage. That's fine. There we go. Whew. All right, yeah, so that's the Frog King done. Not a great fight, but it went pretty all right. You're supposed to run around him, and so the first phase is taking off the armor that he has, and then the second phase is basically just like a simple like puzzle fight where every time he hops into the water, you need to hit his like each side. He's going to remove platforms, and then you can restore them with the hammer on his back. And then if you have the bomb spell, there's a cool interaction there where he when he's sucking in, you can throw it into his mouth and make him explode and do easy damage to him. So, and one thing you might have seen there that I'll just explain for whatever purposes is every time I enter into a door and want to enter back into it, I usually try to walk into the door and just mash the enter button because that allows me to immediately like load into it and go back to the other side rather than having to wait for like this animation of like waiting for the door to open and going back through it. So yeah, so that was the second boss. We're already on to the area of the third boss, and thanks to already having the flame spell, we can basically skip the entire area once again. So shouldn't be ruining the game for anybody that if anybody's interested in seeing it or playing it themselves. But we do have to grab one key here to be able to advance to the lower section, so we just got to take this little detour here and grab it all. And the sad thing is you have to wait for these keys to proc, but once they do, you can just quit out and go back. So quick little quit in, quit out, go from there. And so now we're done with the ceramic manor, and we're going back into the furnace, basically. And so lore, I guess I can break into some lore stuff. So basically, each area has their own, like, I guess I want to say deity or person that has lived too long and has like ruled the area that needs to be reaped. And well, we haven't met the Grey Crow to go into like the lore of like why we need to reap these souls. But other than them living too long, there's something called the Death's Door. Holy crap! I just name dropped the game. That is like holding the soul that the Grey Crow needs to reap so that they aren't going to die and they can continue to live forever. And so we get told that we need to reap the 3 souls of Grandma, or the Urn Witch, who is Patheed's grandmother, or Pothead's grandmother. Then the King of the Swamp, who is just like an old frog that's lived too long and has kind of ruled it as its ruler and doesn't want to die because he thinks he's too awesome. And then Betty is just an old Yeti, I guess. I don't really know there really isn't lore behind Betty. She's just kind of there. And so we meet Grandma for the first time here. She's put her grandson into some green ooze so he can't get in her way of keeping him alive. I don't know what like the weirdness of it is, but she's sassy and wants us to go away and is trying to be kind of nice about it for the most part. But she's going to get a little bit more. The sassitude gets more and more and more as you go through the game. So pretty good. So now we're into the furnace. Each area basically has the requirement of using the spell that you just unlocked or that you should have unlocked in the pre-areas to get through it. But because of all this stuff and basically skipping everything, we already have the flame spell. We don't need the oops. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna be cheeky. Let's go. All right. I don't know how much time that saves, if at all, really. I still have my life.
These strats are good strats.
Yeah. Usually you would just...
You're just...
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say you went into focus mode there.
Yeah, sorry. Doing this little section is just a lot of running and making sure I get good dagger dashes, and I'm also at 2 health, which is this area can get a little bit sketchy sometimes with just because there's a lot of enemies that it expects you to take care of, and it's just pretty. It can get rough sometimes, and a lot of things can clip you when you're not expecting them to. So I'm trying to make sure that I don't ruin the good vibes, as they say.
Yeah, definitely. Don't be afraid to focus when you need to focus. I can always take over and explain, or at least try to explain everything that's happening.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, and that was lucky. Oh, here we go. I almost fell off right there because of this. I don't know. Dagger dashes are good. On 1.0, they are way more fat. Like you absolutely fly. They reduce the acceleration because you could actually skip a bunch of areas just by dagger dashing over into things, basically. So it's been nerfed, I think, twice now. And I'm just going to use the hook shot, which you shouldn't have at this point at all, and just skip through all these areas. So it's pretty simple for the most part. Make it look a lot easier, and it's a lot faster this way too. So it's weird, like having spells lets you skip things. It's kind of crazy, right? And I thought I was about to be a god gamer and skip through all these areas, but that's fine. All right, gonna get some recharges on my spells, which, as you can see, every time you use a spell, you lose one of your 4 slots for it. But every time you hit an enemy or an inanimate object, it comes back. So just gonna grab some healing right here. I rarely get that now. Oh, that was good timing. Here we go. So just do an arc right here. So in my world record I lost 30 seconds because I failed that arc. So I'll make a lot of time back here if I'm gonna be a good gamer. And I need to grab this door. I'm gonna switch to this for DPS, and we're gonna absolutely melt Grandma here. So one of the things to pay attention to now, and oh, by the way, let the sassitude. She calls us a little shit right here. So I don't know. I saw that the first time. It was like I absolutely died. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. But yeah, so we're gonna absolutely melt Grandma here with that the returning the projectiles thing that I mentioned earlier. So definitely pay attention to that.
Yeah, you can pretty much one cycle Grandma here if you do the right kind of setup with her. Now, I think the only trick in this run that you're not doing, and I believe it's I'm not sure if it's been approved or not approved, but there's basically a way that you can lock these bosses from moving at all, and you can just damage them without them. They just stand there, and you damage them. That's it.
And that's it. And that's Grandma done. So the nice thing is, though, that I didn't really explain is that charged attacks or strong attacks do double damage. And so if you do double damage with hitting back a projectile, then you do quadruple damage hitting it with a strong attack. And Grandma's last attack is she just hits back a bunch of flame spells at you, or a bunch of projectiles. So you can just knock back several at a time and completely, absolutely melt her health. So... and one thing I didn't mention lore-wise is this is Stedhone the Gravedigger. Every time a boss dies, he gives them a eulogy. We never met Stedhone because you're supposed to meet him in the Lost Cemetery, but he's a cool dude. I like him a lot. He's what one would call a bro, I guess. And so now we're going back to the Lost Cemetery to meet and also go through the last iteration of like the Grey Crow that we should have met at the beginning of the game. So, yeah, we're kind of in the end section, almost, sort of. So, and there's a great Zumi. Oh my goodness, like you can save so much time with a good Zumi in a very long, straight, like, section. It's so nice. I will say that so I play on controller primarily just because that's what I'm used to. I only use KBM for like FPS games and other things, but you can play this on KBM if you prefer. We have a decent amount of KBM runners on 1.0, so nothing really to mention there. So now we're at the Grey Crow. Because we have all the boss levels, though, he's just like, "Hey, you came back, fledgling. Good job. I never would have been able to do that." And it's like, dude, if you just would have done it yourself, then it would have been a big deal. So we're gonna give up our 3 giant souls, Lord souls, whatever you want to call them, references to Dark Souls again, and we're gonna open up Death's Door. And so upcoming now is go ahead.
I was going to say, this is the last part of the game that you're coming up on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're going to be fighting the last 2 bosses. Well, we won't spoil them, so chat, get ready.
Yeah, they're great though. Well, actually, this next boss sucks. I hate this boss. This boss is terrible. I'm not gonna be like cant about it or anything like that. Like, whatever. I don't care. So we enter the place beyond, and then, hey, there's another voice here. Who is that? Uh-oh, it's a dude with a hoodie and a fanny pack and a scythe? Oh, it's Death. So we just met Death. And so now we get a bunch of exposition. The Grey Crow is like, "What the heck? You're Death? We thought you were gone. We were reaping because of you." And the dude's like, "Oh, awkward." So the lore exposition here is basically, so there are many Lords of Doors. The one thing we learned in Castle Lockstone is that we are currently on the 4th Lord of Doors, and that the first Lord of Doors basically tricked Death into into being sealed behind this door specifically. And the point is that the Lord of Doors didn't want to die. But the whole point, the Lord of Doors, though, the previous Lords of Doors had kept up their agreement that they would start reaping souls that needed to be reaped and basically use the crows to do that. But this last Lord of Doors was like, "Hey, I don't care anymore. I don't want to die ever." Because basically, you get a little bit too, out of season would be the best way to say it. And so now that's what's happening to the Grey Crow, and he basically goes nuts because he kind of loses his mind, understanding that the soul that he was supposed to reap went into this door, and then basically because it was in the ether, it just disappeared, and he's never going to get it. So he's never going to get his youth back or become immortal. So this boss fight sucks. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. This is such a RNG boss that can just absolutely ruin your day like that. So I wasn't even you're supposed to have iframes when you use the hookshot, but for some reason, but sometimes you just don't. And that being one of those times. Also, these little crow heads that are gawking around, they can just decide to ruin your day. And they can just spawn on you. without any want or abandon. So like they can just you can be hitting the crow, and it's a better idea to not die and just kind of crowd control them. But yeah, they can literally just spawn on top of you, and you can't do anything about it. And really,
I fought this boss so many.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I fought this boss so many times in my casual playthrough that the time I beat him, I did a no hit. Yeah, Grey Crow has a couple of different phases that you're burning through really quickly. So he's got these crows that will fly around you and block your range shots. He's got these crow heads that are flying at you to try and damage you. And he also puts down a vortex, which you probably might not even see, considering how fast you're going.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't put down the vortex, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, I am now 20 seconds ahead of my latest PB because of that. I died on my world record attempt. Among other things. So yeah, that fight can go absolutely terribly, and it doesn't even matter. Like it's there's so much going on that just staying alive and being consistent and trying to consistently do damage is huge. So
Yo,
by the way,
before we go to the final boss real quick, can I get a donation in?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely fabulous. We have a 25 anonymous donation that simply says Chicago, and that is to naming the rival in Let's Go Pikachu, Chicago. There we go.
Cool. Yeah, get in the donations, peeps. We want to name things for the Let's Go Pikachu run, and the funnier the names you got, the better. Or just more, you know. I mean, I don't care. But yeah, so this is Lord of Doors. We're gonna fight the Lord of Doors. We're gonna make quick work of him. He kind of expositions like, "Hey, I know you're here to kill me because you know the crows that you met earlier in the first part of the game when you were supposed to meet them, you know, way later were like, he's bad, kill him so that people start dying again or things start dying again in the world." But that's whatever. So we now have a little gauntlet. We have an introduction to the Lord of Doors' like moveset basically, and then he kind of like takes aspects from each of the bosses that we fought, and then we have to fight individual portions of those as he kind of just like hops around and gives us finger guns because he's an absolute Chad. But overall, I think this is honestly my favorite. Like, not this section, but this is my favorite fight in the game, just because I don't know. I'm a big Souls fan, and just like how. Like, not optimized, but what? Oh, man, I underdamaged him. That sucks. You can be very, very quick about these kills and basically get him done in one cycle each time. I kind of messed up that cycle because I wasn't ready for my my hook shot there, but. Yeah, it's just a lot. It's like a running gauntlet here, and not too bad overall, but certainly something to keep your wits about you because of how long it is and how long it takes. So,
honestly, this is my favorite section in the game. The music, build up, the boss, everything about this part. Just I love it.
All right. Nice. And that part, that's actually the only time you can skip him doing his actual animation there, or like the attack that he's supposed to do. So it's nice to get that, I will say. All right, I gotta focus here just a tad. I don't want to take damage here. You do thankfully get your health back.
Yeah, there's a checkpoint coming up here right before you fight the Lord of Doors for the last time that will refill your health.
Yeah. which is very nice. I will say that, like, learning in the No Clip documentary from watching it with Acid Nerve, they were like, yeah, we wanted a game that was going to be tough but also rewarding for players. And so a lot of the time, so like in Souls games, if you die, you lose all your souls. You have to go back and collect them. In this game, if you die, they just stay with you. And so if you really need the help, you can just go back and not worry about it. So now on the final section, we're back into what I never introduced, which is the Hall of Doors, which is, kind of like the hub area. And the Lord of Doors has made his way back here. You can see he like busted through the metal detector and kind of cleared everything out, and is now standing in front of the Well of Souls, where we like level up from. And he's like, you know what? Screw you. I will never die, because he's so freaking metal. And he pops it open, powers himself up, and we fight the bad boy.
Yep, and he officially has a name, the Last Lord.
Yep. All right. So I'm going to focus here.
Yeah, so if you do this casually, the build-up here is really nice because the Lord of Doors, before he gets to this point, introduces you to a new mechanic in every single section. In this last fight, the Last Lord, he is putting every single mechanic that you've seen so far into one epic fight. And I can't. This fight is amazing.
And he's also actually faster. So in the first section, the moves that he was doing were actually fairly slow. Oh, dang. All right, him being on...
I want to say that AoE he does is brand new to this fight. I don't think you see that in any other part of the game.
It is. Go! Let's go! That's actually a world record.
World record first!
Yeah.
Incredible.
On Marathon.
Yeah. So yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
So if, I'm streaming right now, so we can be a ton of swiggies you guys want. I have to go back through and actually go through the credits to get to the what do you call it? The in-game timer. But yeah, crazy. That's my first run that I've done in like 3 or 4 days. So it's been doing some practice, so it's good that I can do that, I guess, still. But yeah, super fun game, guys. I can't speak enough about how awesome it is. We get one last eulogy from Stedhone, being like, yeah, here's the Lord of Doors. He was kind of a tragic character in the sense that, he was meant to lead, but he just wanted to live his life, basically, and not be subject to die like the rest of people. So kind of it. That's really it, I guess. I don't know. That was kind of just it's a bang, bang, bang run, and it's a lot of fun to learn. So definitely, like I said, or like Zenith said, like the Discord is still open. I miss a lot of new tech and tricks just because I don't pay attention, and like I come in, there's like 50 new messages about all this tech, and I'm like, guys, I don't even, like, you'll tell me later if I need it. Like, you'll just let me know, more or less. But yeah, I hope to see more runners from this. The Discord, I think it's just on the speedrun.com page. Reach out to me if you need it. FoxyJira on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube as well. So I run this and other games, so any support is great. Taking a break from full-time job stuff, so Twitch is kind of like my focus in some aspect. But I mean, I don't want to be like I'm not only like a full-time Twitch streamer or something like that, but it's how it is. So you miss all these cool little areas too. Like this is the what do you call it? Oh god, I forgot the name. You miss Jefferson, who is the squid dude at the back. Like Jeffy's like one of the best characters, and like there's so much good humor in this game that it just, I don't know, we skip so much of it just to go super fast. So I don't know, Zenith, any questions or comments from chat or something? I don't have it up right now, and I can't. So I don't want to help out too fast, but I know we gave a ton of time back to the marathon. So.
You got a lot of GGs in chat right now. Obviously, everyone's excited that you got a world record on the marathon live here. Yeah. So
nutty.
huge grats to you, dude. I mean, I'm happy that I was a part of it as well.
Appreciate it.
And like you said, This community is amazing. Acid Nerve is amazing. I mean, you guys really need to come join the Discord. I'm one of the mods over there. We're very welcoming. We're very inclusive. We want to make sure that no matter what it is that you're interested in, whether it's running the game casually, speedrunning the game, learning all the glitches, breaking the game apart, creating mods for the game, or whatever, come in the Discord, introduce yourself, and have fun with us. I mean, like you said, I try, and Clark and Fletch and everyone over there, we try to breed a community that is giving back to Death's Door all the time. So it's it's active in that way, like you said. And yeah, definitely come join us.